Have you ever known the answer to a question you've never heard before? Have you ever found your way in a place you've never been to? During one of your consultations, have you had the feeling that your client was keeping something from you? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, congratulations, you have intuition. And everyone knows that intuition is a mysterious form of psychic ability, right? Wrong. There is actually science to explain our feelings, instincts, hunches, premonitions, and intuitions. Our brains are master detectives, using the abundance of stimuli and sensory information around us as clues and cues in decision making. Our super detective brain does not rely on rational logic alone. Having this information about intuition can help improve your writing consultation sessions in a dramatic way. But before we discuss intuition in the Writing Center, let's try to define it. What is intuition, and how does it help us to make decisions? First, let's distinguish between instinct, hunches, and intuition. Instincts are the set of innate predispositions that all of us humans have to act out certain behaviors. Babies, for example, start to walk instinctually around the age of 1. No one tells them to do it, they just start. That's instinct. A gut feeling or a hunch is a quick sensation, a small piece of important information that gets communicated to your brain without your full awareness as to how that little piece of information got there. Maybe he's the one for you. Maybe you forgot to turn the oven off. You have a feeling the prize is behind door number 3. Those are hunches. You feel almost certain that they're accurate, but you can't quickly explain why. Intuition, on the other hand, is a set of processes that involve the nervous system and the brain. These processes give us the ability to know something without analysis or coming to the knowledge with the rational parts of our brain. In fact, in the last few years, researchers have shown that intuition actually tells us information much faster than reason. In one study at the University of Iowa, subjects were asked to play a game and to choose from 4 decks of face-down cards. The higher the value of cards chosen, the more money they would win. They were not told that 2 of the decks had all the high-value cards, but they started to suspect something was rigged. The researchers measured the subjects' heart rates and perspiration. Long before the subjects took action and started pulling from the higher-value decks, their heart rates increased and they began to sweat. In other words, their intuition told them that there was something to be suspicious of before their rational mind did. This has a lot to do with our vision, too, as our eyes actually have 2 vision tracks. One that we are aware of, and one that is subconscious. So, what does all this science stuff have to do with the Writing Center? As writing tutors, we are constantly taking measurements of our clients. No, not with a yardstick, but with our eyes and our ears. When we start a session, we take great care to make our clients feel comfortable so that communication can flow freely. And from that moment on, we observe and address their many concerns, even unspoken ones. Ideally, our clients know what they want to address and how to ask for it, but more often than not, we're left to our own devices, attempting to surmise the best approach. Here's where intuition comes in. Like sensation, feeling, and thinking, intuition is a tool, one of the 4 main functions of our psychology. I use these terms on purpose because these 4 psychological modes are the basis for Myers and Briggs' famous psychometric personality type tests from the 60s called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI assessment. The test measures people in the ways they are dominant between sensation, feeling, thinking, and intuition. Then, these responses are matched to a personality type. We shouldn't try to analyze which of the 16 types each of our clients might be, but rather, this is one way that knowing about intuition can help. Some of us are more sensing, and some more intuitive personality types. Sensing personality types see details. A sensing type tends to look at, say, a forest and see each individual tree, how many varying species, all the differences apparent among them, and then maybe be able to see the forest. Intuitive personality types recognize the forest right away and then might see all the similarities that trees share, eventually being able to recognize that there may be some distinction between them. As writers, some of us treat the writing process in a more sensing way, while others are more intuitive in their approach. Recognizing this distinction in a session might make the difference for your client. If he or she is trying to see the bigger picture, but is having a hard time, you might try an exercise that opens them up to their intuitive side. If you notice that your client is having a hard time with specifics, they might be more intuitive and better served with directive suggestions for examples to illustrate their general points. This isn't to say that all of us can overcome our natures, but it's another tool for the consultant's toolbox. Another term for intuition is emotional intelligence. This is because intuition encompasses our ability to recognize feelings or emotions and to use or to respond to these emotions. Our former CSU Writing Center director, Noreen Lape, says that emotional intelligence is no less important than knowledge of discourse conventions and the writing process. According to her essay advocating for more empathic tutoring, she says there are 5 key aspects of emotional intelligence. 1. The ability to recognize a feeling as it happens. 2. To soothe oneself so as to manage distress. 3. To rally emotions in the service of a goal. 4. To empathize or attune to subtle social signals that indicate what others need or want. And 5. To manage emotions in others in order to create effective relationships. Sounds like a lot to worry about, and it is, but we're not suggesting that you counsel our clients or act as their psychiatrist. Rather, responding in a human or intuitive way to our clients will help us tutors focus on the main goal, to help make independent writers. Offer a support system in a human, empathetic way when necessary. Sometimes, as tutors, we need to be our own support system. When you face a large problem during a session, for example, if you've struggled with a thesis together and aren't getting anywhere, play to your intuition. Stop and concentrate on something else, maybe even a lower order concern for a while. Giving yourself time away from your rational analysis can give your intuition a chance to kick in. By the time you get back to it, you'll know the answer and a thesis might come to you both. Stephen Sherwood describes a similar situation in his essay Portrait of the Tutor as an Artist. During a session, a consultant and client are challenged with a topic to write about. When the consultant mentions a shower as a suggestion, the client has his aha moment. Steam, that's the topic. In both cases, the subconscious mind of intuition was working in the background. Now, we're not suggesting you stop thinking rationally and feel your way through a consultation, doing away with everything we've learned about tutoring. As our former director says, there is no single, fail-safe plan when it comes to dealing with a writer's complicated emotions, his or her humanity. But just as with directive and non-directive approaches, try to balance your rational mind and your intuition. It might make the difference between a successful session and an excellent one. After all, part of being an independent writer and an independent consultant means trusting your intuition.